hello, advanced recalculus. Here we go. Last four problems from 6.4 notes. Find a sinusoidal equation for your graph, A, B, C. So sinusoidal can be sine or cosine, and we're just looking at our vertical stretches or compressions, our horizontal stretches or compressions. Also change in period is another way to think about that. B as a change in period that will affect the period. You know, this A, another way to think about it is it's affecting the amplitude, and then B at the end here, that's simply a vertical shift. Okay, so lots of ways to think about these graphs with the information that you're given. Okay, so we don't have a phase shift yet. They're not shifted left or right yet. That's coming. So we're going to start them all at x equal to 0. So this graph is starting high. It's starting above that line of symmetry. So this looks very much like a cosine graph, and it completes its cycle. It goes high to low and completes the cycle. So this looks like just a great cosine graph. It's going to be f of t then equals, and let's start with our amplitude. It's not reflected because it's starting high, and instead of going 1 to -1, it's stretching up to 3. So that's the amplitude of 3 that goes in front. And this is the cosine. And all we have to do is figure out this b value now. We have to figure out this. Obviously, it's been stretched here. So we have to find this b value from our period formula. So we have a period. This is 2 pi at the low. So even though this isn't given, you can come up with the fact that the period is 4 pi just by doubling that. And so we know that 2 pi over b was 4 pi. Let's pull a switch on these two. Switch. And this will just be 2 pi over 4 pi, and b for this problem is 1/2, which is certainly a stretch. 1/2 t. Stretch by times 2, which is 4 pi. So either way you want to think about it at all makes sense. Okay, next one, we're just going to grab one period. So we're starting here because we don't have a phase shift, and we're going to end right here. So this looks like a sine curve. And the only problem is sine usually starts going on the increase. This goes on a decrease, so it's just been reflected. So this is f of t equals amplitude up to down to. So, starting at 0, there's been no vertical shift here either because the starting point is right here. So we're going to have a -2, and this is our sine function. No vertical shift because of the start is right in line here, right in line here, and this 2 pi over period here is 4. Be careful not to grab this 5. You want to go from one complete cycle, and that's 4. That's over 4. Switch. 2 pi over 4 is b, and so b value here is pi over 2. Okay, so that goes right here, pi over 2t. Okay, so as we move on through this section, you'll see there's multiple ways to write an equation for this, but this is the most simple. This is the most simple equation you could write for that graph with the information given. All right, our next one, let's pull in some vertical shifts here. So again, we want to start. So we're starting, up and heading on the down and ending up. So this is going to be a positive cosine. But you don't see, 3 and -3. You don't see the symmetry here. So we've had a shift. So we've got to find our line of symmetry. So, from 3 to -1, that's a distance of 4. And the line of symmetry is right in the middle. So it's going to be 2 below the max and 2 above the min. So this faux axis, if you will, is right here. All right, so let's see. I'll just write this right here, f of t. So this is going to allow me to figure out my amplitude. So my amplitude right here is going to be 2. All right, amplitude is 2. It's kind of starts high and goes low, so that's all good right there. All right, and so this is cosine. And let's see our period. So our period is 4 pi over 3. That's the halfway point. So let's go ahead and double that. Times 2 here is 8 pi over 3. What am I writing? I'm writing an infinity sign or something. 8 pi over 3. Let's do our little algebra here. So we know that 2 pi over b had to be 8 pi over 3. And And so this one I would just do my cross multiplication. 6 pi equals 8 pi times b, and divide by 8 pi. All right, that's 3 over 4. So my b value here is 3 over 4. Okay, we've got to get a vertical shift in here. So let's just give some focus there with the box here. We've got to get a vertical shift here. So you just want to see, you can just look at your fake axis, right? It's not really a fake axis. It's a, I don't know why I call it that. That's just kind of a Mullert thing. You know, this new axis is at 1, and it's usually at 0, and so it's just been shifted up 1. It's pretty easy to determine the shift when you put that dotted line there. And you can see the amplitude of 2, you can see the vertical shift, and then of course the period. Yeah. All right, so the next one's a little different, and this graph here is to assist you to figure out what you've been given. So minimum at pi over 4. So let's see, a max at 3 pi over 4. Let's go pi over 4, and then 3 pi over 4. So, you know, in between those would be a pi over 2. So it looks like this is going to be ending at pi. So you could look at this distance here, this distance from the max to the min, or from the min to the max. That's going to be half a period. That's going to happen in sine and cosine. The minimum to the maximum, or vice versa, is going to be half a period. So you can compute that that's pi over 2 and then double it and get that this has a period of pi. So this has been compressed. So we'll have to figure out that value. And then looks like it's going to be at -4 and 2. Okay, so again, we don't have that symmetry here, so we're going to have a shift. And we're going to have an amplitude here as well. So let's start with the vertical stuff. So this is a distance of 6. This is -4. This is a distance of 6. So let's just go half of that, which is 3. So we're going to have this line of symmetry here, this kind of fake axis at -1. Okay, and so let's draw this minimum, and let's draw this maximum. All right, so, you know, to get from this point to this point, we got to connect the dots. And then let's just go ahead and complete our period, right? That's what's given. But let's go ahead and complete our period. We know with sine and cosine what's going to happen. This is going to have to go to the start. You know, that's going to be here. That's going to be here. And that's going to be here. So we're going to complete that period just like that on this middle piece. And so this looks very much like a sine curve. Okay, this looks like a sine curve. What is this? No, I don't want to watch the fate. Look very much like a sine curve. And let's look at our amplitude. This has an amplitude of 3, but you know, please note that it's reflected. So you want to make sure you grab that -3. And let's do our period computation over here. So we know that 2 pi equal pi. Okay, and so we'll just switch that. We know that 2 pi over pi had to equal b, and that's just 2. Our b value is 2. So let's put it all together. Y equals -3. Okay, again, from this middle line here, it went up 3, down 3, so that's 3. But put sine in here. Grab this b value that we found by solving 2 pi. So, hope you did well on the test. If you're watching this on Thursday, and if you're watching this on Tuesday, good luck on your test. All right, bye.